or just?
Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage Girl's Diary.
Hello, and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura.
I'm Joel.
And I'm wearing a hat today, and he's not. Well,
I took my hat off.
He always takes it off.
That's part of the thing.
It's hat day. If this is your first time watching, we are the Newlydeads.
We are.
And we record this in our house. Hence, we've got strange little familiars wandering around. That's Bailey. This is Shaggy.
He's already taken residence in my lap, and we haven't even started the video yet.
There's a fish over there in the corner that you can't
Jack.
see. Yeah.
And lots of random spiders and other things
Floating around.
floating around in the air like
In the
skin
ether.
glitter.
Yeah. Ew. Skin glitter. Hey, don't do that.
That's for you, Bailey.
Gross. But
Anyway.
the Newlydeads Dollar Store Drive-In is a short chat show about 30 minutes long where we discuss a movie that usually Mr. Newlydad finds at a discount store like the Dollar Store. Dollar Tree. Like Joel always says.
Dollar
if you-
General, Dollar Mart,
Dollar Mart.
Dollar Place.
Or like Goodwill. We found one at Goodwill recently.
Or, like you saw last week's show, that is sent to us
Someone sent
by a
it.
filmmaker. And see, we were kind. We were critiqued, but did not criticize.
Yes.
If you are afraid, because we do get a little silly sometimes on the show. You might hear the occasional or the other
Farts.
things. But yeah, as long as it's under $5.
Toots.
It's a toot toot riot.
Yeah.
Riot! That's not the song.
No. But this week we watched a Dollar Store film, Dollar Tree film, The Summoning.
AKA Reside from 2018. It's a Taiwanese horror film, ghost story. And we have thoughts.
Yes. Before we do the thoughts, though, we are live right now in the chat show.
I forgot about that.
If you're watching this at 6:30 Central Standard, 7:30 Eastern Standard time on Wednesday evening, you can come talk to us. We're lonely. Please come talk to us.
And we have each other, but yeah, we like talking to other people.
Yeah.
If this is on a Sunday, chances are we're probably not there. Or if it's 6 o'clock, probably not there yet. But
I mean,
6:30.
he likes to watch the show at 6 o'clock on, the one before it because we like to prepare to get ready for when you guys come in and talk to us.
Yeah, so we might be around if
Yeah.
something gets popped up into the chat.
Yes. So, anyways, come talk to us and talk about the movie if you want to. But I'm going to read the description on the back
Shaky shake.
of The Summoning.
Reside, the summoning, whatever.
So basically, a group of people attempting to communicate with the underworld find themselves in the presence of 3 spirits, a father, a mother, and a child. One by one, the group members are possessed by the spirits, revealing horrifying secrets from the past. Trapped and under attack from these violent entities, only one member of the group may hold the key to exorcising the spirits out of the mansion for good. Yeah.
I'm exercising.
It's 99 minutes long. It is another ITM release. ITN. Which usually that indicates that it came from the Dollar Store. or Dollar Tree.
And that the quality is probably not going to be fantastic.
Yeah. But it's, Did you already mention it's from 2018?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, they talk about the sins from the past, but most of the things that are kind of sinful in this happened fairly recently in the storyline. They weren't like 10 years ago. They were like 10 minutes ago. Maybe not quite that soon, but anyway. So,
yeah, it's
sort of accurate.
it starts interesting enough. I feel like even the beginning of it is a little like kind of slow, panning into that skull thing or whatever. But I mean, basically, there's a body on a table, right?
Let the bodies hit the...
And there's a body on the table the whole time, and you don't know who the body is on the table.
It's just a wrapped in a sheet body.
Unless you're me, and I guessed it right away.
She figured it out in like the first 5 minutes. She's like a movie genius, to quote Andy Bernard. You should maybe we pop the trailer and let them see what's happening.
Yes.
And just Well, we'll explain the trailer after.
Yeah. So take a gander.
Grab a snack, sit back, relax, enjoy.
Yes.
Không hảสิไม่ต้องกลัวนะไม่ต้องกลัวเข้ามามาสิเข้ามาสิเข้ามาอย่าหยุดสตาอย่าหยุดสตา
นายแม่พยายามทำพิธีเรียกวิญญาณเพื่อให้กลับเข้าล่างไม่มีใครคิดว่ามันจะมีวิญญาณแปลกปลอมหลุดเข้ามาด้วย
แล้วมันต้องการอะไรจากพวกเราอะ
ดูเหมือนว่ามันกำลังเตรียมร่างพวกเราให้พร้อมเพื่อรอวิญญาณอีกดวงหนึ่งเราก็ไม่มีทางที่จะรู้ว่ามันอยู่ตรงไหน
นี่ผมเอง
ฉันไม่เชื่อใจใครทั้งนั้น
ได้ร่างของกูแล้วใช่ไหม
ไอ้ผีบ้า
ไม่รู้ว่ามันจะสิงใครต่อไป
So, if you couldn't understand, because it was all in Taiwanese, we understand.
There were subtitles, though,
Yes.
thankfully. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's
the trailer
good.
has subtitles.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We could not find the movie with subtitles.
And I don't go looking at YouTube as my first go-to place to find movies, because sometimes you'll find them there, but they're sketchy quality, and most of the time they're just people trying to get you to like go to their bootleg site and probably put a virus on your computer.
Legal things.
So we checked all the legal avenues for the film, and every single one of them was dubbed
And yeah,
like a 1973 anime.
bad. Really bad. And we like watching foreign films with subtitles. Like I prefer it. Yeah. I want to hear the person's real voice, and I don't care if they're speaking English or not. Like I'm completely fine with, you know, I can't, it's not like I get lost or anything like that.
No.
If anything, it makes me pay more attention because now I have to read the subtitles.
Thank you. And you know, the other thing is, and it's kind of a weird side effect, and I'm sorry I keep shifting, but he's in a weird spot. Is that when you read it, do you find that you're reading it kind of in the actor's voice? So when the actor is giving their lines, you're kind of hearing it kind of like you're hearing the actor saying it in your head, even though you're reading it? It's kind of the impression I get. I don't know if that probably doesn't actually happen in real life, but that's kind of the way it feels to me. Like,
Huh, that's interesting. No, I don't really
reading
feel
it in
like
their
that.
voice.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I also am not a big reader. Like
She does read, though.
I want to read, but I sometimes have problems like imagining things or whatever. Like as it's going along, I don't have aphantasia. I don't think, but I
Maybe
mean,
a mild form.
maybe a mild form. Yeah, because I feel like I can picture some things, right? But
Yeah, we've had conversations about that.
yes, so maybe that's part of it. Like you probably enjoyed a little bit more, even reading. But
I like
that being
option.
said, we also want to pause this for a second, and Joel's going to show you a clip of the movie that we actually watched with the voices dubbed.
We'll try and find a clip that's got a few people, maybe all of them, because there's only 7 actors in the whole film, and they're all in the same location for the entire film.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bailey, that was me. I hit the chair and I just did it. I didn't even do it that hard. It was just like a little. Anyway, he gets very protective of us. So, all right.
All right, we're going to pause it. You're going to watch the actual movie that we watched, and then we're going to discuss.
Let's do it.
Yeah. It was difficult to watch.
If you decide that you really have to see this movie, it is streaming with the subtitles on YouTube, but if you want to see that version that we just played, it is streaming for free on Tubi and Freevee, and
at the Dollar Tree.
And you can get it at the Dollar Tree, perhaps, because there's no options to subtitle the film on that. There's only play and scenes, and that's it. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Bad dubbing aside, the movie, as you stated before we went to the trailer, which I felt was important, is kind of like the Killer Tattooist in so much that they have these really, really long shots or slow motion shots. And that opening scene, which if any of you have ever seen the 1978 film Halloween, if you ever heard of it, that opening scene where they're panning in on the pumpkin and the head splitting and there's the dee-dee-dee-dee, that whole thing, brilliant. Good use of time. This, same thing, but there's the music's slow. The head doesn't split apart. There's just the skull sitting there the whole time. And it takes
scary.
like 25 minutes to get to the skull. Like, really, really slow.
It's not quite 25 minutes, but yes, it was a
23 and a half.
long, drawn out.
And it felt like it was never going to end.
I feel like everything about this movie was like that.
Yeah. Are you guys sensing a Killer Tattooist thing about to happen? You're not entirely wrong, but you're not right either.
Yeah. I'm just going to be honest. I struggled to stay awake during this movie.
She did.
I try my darndest to watch all the movies all the way through, staying awake.
And you do.
I drink coffee all day, all night. Try to stay awake. Yeah, and this movie was just so slow, so hard to watch because of the dubbing. I really did. I missed chunks of it because I kept falling asleep.
It's kind of like live action melatonin. And even I, who was wide awake, was still kind of having some struggles. And I like slow burns. If you're familiar with this show, we're 13 episodes deep at this point. If you're familiar with the show, you know that, I like slow burns a lot. And this was just like a no burn. I don't know. And then all the slow motion, which if you're a John Woo film or The Matrix, great. Bullet time or slow motion, fantastic. But if you're a paranormal possession horror film, why?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to go over the cast list here, which if you guys are ever curious and you want to see these, with the sketches included and the notes, maybe someday we'll put together a little fun little booklet or something. Because some of the sketches I'm actually pretty proud of. I was pretty happy with that.
That was very cute.
So it was written and directed by Wisit Sasana-Tieng. I'm pretty sure I got that right. I pulled 3 movies from their filmography that I thought were interesting. The most recent one was called Red Eagle, which is a superhero movie. Which, if they do the same thing in that they do in this, we're in trouble. They did a movie called Senior, which... The movie is about a high school senior that can smell ghosts. Not a joke. This is why I like foreign films, because they'll take chances. It's like the movies, the exploitation movies of the 80s that I love, and the 70s even. They just took risks. That's a risk. Right?
Do you smell what the ghost is cooking?
And then the other movie I pulled was called The Whole Truth, and that actually is the most recent film. Like that one either just came out or just about to come out, and it's about this family that's in this house, and there's a hole in the wall. It's like like a glory hole,
like
size.
A peephole. Yeah.
It's bigger. It's more like a glory hole size. It's bigger than a peephole. If you don't know what that is, just
Google it.
Big enough to put.
Or don't Google it.
Yeah, don't Google that. Kids, stay in school. So anyway, when you look through the hole, you can see like the sins or the bad things that people have done in the past. Like it's a window to evil doings.
That's interesting.
Like wrongdoings. Interesting premise. Doesn't have very high marks on the Internet Movie Database, but like I said, it sounds interesting. Actually, all 3 of them sound interesting to me. Like I would watch all 3 of these films if you were just like, "Hey, check this out." I'd be like, "Okay, let's go." There's only 7 people. I looked at their filmographies. Most of them I didn't recognize a single film because they're Thai actors and they're all in Thai films. And I've seen a lot of foreign films, but I didn't recognize any of the titles. Titles?
Yeah. Ah.
ITN, you already mentioned that.
I feel like the acting was probably fine. It's just you couldn't tell because, you know, the
dubbing was
odd dubbing.
Like the acting of the dubbers.
Yeah. When you've got a voice over a person that's like, "Hi there, I'm so blah blah blah," and you know that they're probably not talking like that. Yeah. Or like an older woman who's like, "Come, spirits here."
That actually happened.
Yes. Join us.
Now you're making Shaggy scared. It's. I don't know whose decision it was to get, like I said, the 1983 Anime Actors Guild to come and do the film for them in 2018, but apparently that's what they did. And the other thing that I wanted to comment on here that I wrote down, like, you remember the scene with the she's like a shaman or something.
Yes.
I forget what they call her.
Mm-hmm. The old lady. And
she is trying to, essentially she's trying to pull a spirit in through the window or the door into the body that's on the counter. That if you see the cover, you'll see it all wrapped up and everything. That's the main character, so to speak. She's trying to put the spirit back in the body, and in the process, she lets in 3 bad demon spirit things. But there's a part where they go and find her, and she's all wrapped up in this giant spider web of string, and she like spits string on one of the people, and we're like watching it, and we're like, I don't understand what this is about. And it's like, is this like a cultural thing?
And it is.
And it turns out, and I sent you the thing. Did you
I read
that on your phone? Because I didn't.
No.
We don't have our phones here, but it is actually a cultural thing. It's the only thing I could find from
it. Was like
film.
a holy string or something like that.
Yeah, it had some sort of religious purposes or something. It's like a not necessarily good luck. That's not the right word, but like a protection sort
Holy.
of thing.
Yeah, it's like a holy thing.
But it looked weird in the context of the film because it looked like a spider web, like she was an arachnid or something.
Well, the thing that she spit out was the holy string, I think, right? Or the whole thing was the holy string.
It was all string because they were cutting it with scissors.
She looked like she was a spider in a web.
Yeah, like she was trapped almost, like she trapped herself.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
And then like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You got more to talk about the cultural stuff, right?
Well, it's just that I tried doing some searches like possessions and ghost stories, and trying to learn more about the Thai culture in relation to the themes of the film, and I couldn't find anything really that was like correlated with what we saw, other than the string. That was the only real thing I could see. Because when I talked to her last night about, sometimes you have to watch a film and know what the cultural differences are in order for them to make sense. Like in the Chinese culture, the undead vampires, they don't walk or they jump because they're stiff from being dead.
Right.
So they hop. So when you see a Chinese vampire film and they're hopping after their victims, it seems kind of jarring and kind of weird, and you're like, oh, that's funny. Why are they hopping? Is that like a joke? But
to them, it's terrifying because like that's a dead body that's like jumping around. So
yeah,
I was talking to Joel about this, and I was like, I know I was bored with this movie and fell asleep during it in like a couple of parts. But I mean, I did watch, a large part of it. Yeah. But what I wanted to like talk about then, because he sent me that thing about the string, and is the differences in like cultural, scariness, right? Fears, right?
Right.
Yeah. So to me, I almost want to do a little bit more research, either before or after I see a foreign film now, because of the fact that, there are different, cultures that respect different things, and maybe that is terrifying to them. And instead of just being like, what the heck, and like, that's dumb, I want to, pay more attention and try to figure out, I'm like, okay, well, this is why that's scary to them. And like, maybe like, be a little more mindful of it when I'm watching it, instead of just dismissing it and saying it's just like a weird thing that they added to the movie, because sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just a whole cultural thing.
Because in one of the articles I read, they mentioned that it's like if you were to watch The Exorcist and you didn't have any knowledge of the Catholic Church or
Perfect.
demon possession,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and you're like, what the heck is going on? This is weird.
Yeah.
To us, it's normal, as long as we know enough about religion and all that stuff that it's just, okay. It's
Right.
exorcism.
Yep.
So I thought that was an interesting comparison.
Yeah, I agree.
But all that being aside, there were some things that felt like they were borrowing from other films, like when the really young girl starts doing the spider walk.
Oh, right.
Which was like
the ghost crawl, like creepy, like girl walk thing.
And then one of the dudes that gets locked outside, every character in the film gets possessed at some point or another. But he's outside and he like starts growing branches. It was a little odd, and I was like, well, maybe that's a cultural thing that I'm not aware of. But it just was little things like that.
I mean, it was creepy.
Were strange, but then also had some. You'd seen some of it before.
It was creepy. That part was creepy, I thought, but.
And I mean, there were some some camera shots that were really nice. The lighting was good. Like you said, the acting was decent. It just was very confusing and very repetitious. Like everybody just kept possessed, not possessed, possessed, not possessed.
And I didn't find it very scary.
No, it was definitely not scary. It felt more like a Lifetime movie, but with ghosts. Yeah. If that makes sense.
I really wish I would have been able to see the film as it was intended to be, right? Like without the dubbing, because maybe they would have explained it a little bit better, what they were doing to begin with. Because like they just like jumped right into this like woman saying like spirits come. Like they didn't really explain anything. There was some Taiwanese, like words in the beginning, but you couldn't read it, and there was no subtitles underneath it. So maybe they explained that in there, and we just didn't see that.
It felt like there was some stuff that we were missing. And then, as you mentioned earlier on in this, the twist. You figured it out like what? Like literally like 5 minutes in, you're like, oh, I know who's under the sheet.
Yeah.
And she was right.
Yeah.
She usually is.
I tried.
Which, I didn't feel like I was, cheated out of anything. Like I wasn't like, oh man, now I know the ending of the movie.
No. Because we didn't,
We weren't sure until it actually happened that she was right.
I was like, I knew it.
Could have been a number of other people, but
yeah,
it was rough.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
And after Killer Tattooist to jump back into this,
we need a break.
When we show you the movie we've got for next week, perhaps that'll be our break.
Yeah, I hope so.
Probably not. They're probably going to drag us down this path and all the fingers crossed. I can't think of anything else we haven't really touched on here. The slow motion, kind of the almost comical things that happened with this. Oh, there was this part where one of the characters' voices got sped up, and so they sounded almost like a chipmunk or something. I don't know. It was a weird choice. I don't know. It just felt kind of like all over the place, and
none of the place all at the same time.
Right. Like they were trying to make a point, but just having people get possessed and then not possessed and possessed and not possessed. I don't even remember if anybody died, other than the person that was on the table.
Right.
To begin with, I don't remember if anybody else died. To be honest, like that's how little of an impression this film made.
Yeah.
And incidentally, the title Reside makes more sense than the summoning. Just by ITN, if you have anything to do with retitling the films, Reside makes a lot more sense, and they actually reference it in the film several times that these spirits are residing. Anyway, you'd know it if you saw it, but don't
see it. So, do you want to give it a rating?
Maybe. I'm a little scared to give it a rating.
1 out of.
I thought you had this down.
No, I was going to say Holy Strings.
I want strings. I've been down so long in the... Anyway, not going to do Running James Dio. That was a terrible deal, by the way. I apologize.
I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, so we're actually rating it now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 1 out of 5 Holy Strings. For For cinematography and acting reasons, I'll give it a 1. But beyond that, I don't ever need to see it again, even with the subtitles.
Yes.
I'm kind of sorry I watched it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was $1.25, but
yeah,
I'd
not even
gladly
going to give
take
it a
my money
$1.25.
back. I'd give it back to him without getting my money back even.
Yeah. So is that a 0 then?
But no, I'm giving it a 1 because it did look nice.
Yeah.
I like the setting, but
Gotta
again,
give it up to the actors and actresses. I'm sure they did a fine job, but we just couldn't tell because the voices over top of them were
dubbing.
horrible.
Yeah, and maybe it's some cultural things that I'm not understanding. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. That's why I'm giving it a 1.
Yeah, I agree.
No weird numbers? No like 0.75, 0.326,
Nope.
0.9?
Niner?
You know,
1.9.
Walkie-talkie? 1.9.
No, I'm just going to give it a 1.
Give it a flat 1.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
instead of watching this film, he's got a different suggestion.
Oh, nice opening. It landed on the floor.
No,
right
it
there.
landed in a pit, and now it's gone.
Oh, yes, and the alligator Stanley from last week is eating it currently. Oh, that was kind of... People don't like when I do that, and I just heard her do it, and I realized why they don't like when I do that. Anyway, so the movie, this is not a real deep cut, but it just kept coming back to me throughout the film. You even made a suggestion of something different, which
Okay.
I didn't dislike, but this is where my head already had landed. So my suggestion, instead of watching The Summoning, I was reading it, or Reside, whatever you want to call it, is Evil Dead 1981, the original, not Part 2,
Yeah.
and not the remake, but the original, because there is a small numbered group of people, like
Yeah, cast is small.
6 people, 7
Yep.
people, if you count Henrietta, and anyway, it's a fairly small cast, like 8 people total. They're trapped in an enclosed space. There's spirits that keep possessing people randomly. There's some funny voices, but they're not dubbed. And it just felt like this was kind of the spiritual successor, or trying to be,
Okay.
like the Taiwanese version of that, but without. And the first one, the reason I went that route instead of Part 2 is that there was no intentional humor in this,
Yeah.
and they didn't have the budgetary constraints that Evil Dead did, but it just felt very much like it was a similar story.
Cool. And everybody likes the Evil Dead.
Everybody, and it's probably the most consistent horror franchise. I've said this before, like 8 or 9 years ago, I wrote an article about it, and I'm sticking with it. People are starting to catch notice after seeing Evil Dead Rise, that I was right.
Yeah.
So
Like he's always right.
I'm not always right. You're always right.
I know.
Together we are
So-
always right.
Next week, we chose
Oh wait, yeah, we randomized. We randomly selected this film, and it's been almost a month since we did a film about these things. So if you haven't guessed it, we are going to be watching Cowboys vs. Zombies, The Devil's Trail. The Devil's Crossing. I ruined it already.
The Devil's Trail. Yeah, definitely some cowboys in here. Wow, this is a long
It's from
explanation.
2014, and incidentally, I'm going to have to do a
I'm
little research
excited.
on this, and I'll follow up with you next week. But in 2011, there was a film called The Devil's Crossing that looks like it may have been made by the same people. That was like a shorter film or a lower budget film that they then remade, I think. But this film has one weird thing that I can't explain. There is nothing about it. No director, no actors, no names other than just the title, some pictures, and some reviews.
It does not say ITN anywhere.
So anyway, yes.
Our dog is weirdly licking the chair. So it says, civilization has been ravaged by a nuclear war and the undead have risen to attack what is left of humanity. Shadrach, one of the survivors, watched his life burn to the ground after a devastating attack left him mortally wounded. In his dying breath, he sold his soul, becoming eternally enslaved to the forces of hell. Tormented for centuries, he now has a chance to regain his soul, but to do so, he must save an entire town from the living dead while battling his own demons at the same time.
So is Shadrach or his brothers Meshach and Abednego?
Yeah.
Bible joke for those of you out there that know the Bible at all.
Crazy Bible jokes.
The back cover gives me hope. Like the makeup looks decent.
You know that these aren't always what's in the film.
No, I know.
Like,
And-
I highly doubt that that's happening.
No, probably not. For all I know,
And these are just
Joni-
stills of cowboys, and like, there's no actual like.
zombies. For all I know, Joni Durian's in it, and that'll make me it all better. But I mean, I liked Cowboys vs. Aliens, and I'm like the fourth person on the planet that actually enjoyed that film.
This is gonna be bad.
But I love zombie movies, and American Zombieland was a mixed bag. So
Fingers
we'll
crossed.
find out.
Where can they find us?
Oh, at thenewlydeads.com. I'll put the address down there, even though I just said it out
If you
loud.
want to see more of
Wanna-
our
all of our
mugs.
socials, you want to contact us, you want to
Watch
check out the
our
things we have for
YouTube
sale.
videos.
go to our YouTube. Everything you need there, one-stop shop with the Spooky
Tiki
Market.
Takis. Mm-hmm.
Which we're going to try and get maybe some of those going again. And I'm also going to post here a couple of things, one that she made, one that I made, that are available to purchase on our site, as well as ordering handmade pyrography, custom to you, from Mrs. Newlydead.
Yeah. All right.
Is that it?
I think.
Do we cover everything?
I think.
Nothing coming up for the next 6 months?
No. I know. It seems like we're all caught up. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go take a nap then.
Exactly.
Wait, I don't nap. I'm just going to go to bed.
So we're just going to say thanks for watching. And until then, until next week.
Keep it cheap and creepy.
Bye.
Go look after your mother and sister.
Where are you going? I'm gonna finish this.